President for Policy at the Jewish Institute for National Security of America. The situation in Israel right now is a return largely to the status quo, to where things were yesterday morning. That doesn't necessarily mean a return to normal, but it does mean that Israeli citizens are out of the bomb shelters that they were hiding in last night. The damage from the few missiles that did strike is being assessed and cleaned up, and many Israelis are returning to their normal lives. At the same time, that also means that many Israelis remain far from their homes, displaced due to the fighting that's happening in the north in Lebanon, or in the south near Gaza. And many young Israelis are serving in the military on Israel's borders, waiting to defend against the next attack. So certainly the situation remains as tense as it has been for the last year, since 10/7, but I think much relief that yesterday's attack was not worse. Will there be an Israeli retaliation? I think almost certainly Israel is not going to allow such a massive attack of 180 Iranian ballistic missiles to go without a response. The question is when, where, and how. We saw in April, after the last major Iranian missile attack on Israel, that Israel chose a fairly small response, hitting an Iranian air defense system near its nuclear sites, just to show what it was capable of, but not to do major damage. I think in the near term, Israel is likely to do something similar. It is continuing to fight in Gaza. It is now extending its operations to Lebanon. And this is probably not a time at which it is interested in undertaking major operations against Iran. But that doesn't mean that won't come. Iran continues to be a major threat for Israel, and its nuclear program is advancing rapidly, both things that Israel is not likely to tolerate for much longer. And so lastly, how does this add to the overall tension in the Middle East? I think a lot of people here in Washington have been talking about how the Iranian attack could be the start of a new regional war. I think it's important to understand that regional war started on October 7th, and it was started by Iran and its terror proxies, Hamas on October 7th, Hezbollah, which started firing on October 8th. The regional war has been ongoing for Israel for a year. It has been under attack from 7 fronts, from Gaza, from the West Bank, from Lebanon, from Syria, from Iraq, from Yemen, and from Iran itself. So the regional war has been here. So I think the overall tensions, the risk of a broader war of potential escalation has been something that Israel has lived with for the last year. I think if anything, there is relief in Israel. That momentum seems to be shifting, that Hamas has been largely destroyed in Gaza, that Hezbollah's leadership has been eliminated, that Hezbollah's capabilities have been largely destroyed, and that Iran has proved far weaker and far less able to do damage to Israel than many assumed. And so I think rather than tension, there's a sense that Israel is finally winning and turning the tide in this conflict, and that an end might be in sight, even despite the fact of the Iranian attack yesterday.